Have you ever felt like you are playing a video game where you are stuck on the first level? You are grinding away, fighting the same low-level enemies over and over, collecting a few gold coins here and there, but you never seem to rack up enough points to unlock the next stage. You see other players running around with the legendary armor and the epic weapons, and you wonder, what is the cheat code? What am I missing? That is exactly what building wealth feels like for most people. It is a slow, agonizing grind in the beginning. You save, you invest, you sacrifice, but your net worth barely moves. It feels like you are pouring water into the ocean one thimble at a time, and most financial advice is useless. They tell you to just keep investing, but they never tell you when it starts to matter. They never give you the map to the treasure. But what if I told you there is a map? What if I told you that the journey from 0 to 1,000,000 isn't a long, straight, boring road? What if I told you it is a series of 3 specific portals? 3 net worth milestones that, once you pass through them, fundamentally change the rules of the game. These are the points where the physics of money bends in your favor. My name is John, this is the Penny Plan, and today I am giving you the cheat codes. I am going to reveal the 3 net worth milestones that separate the grinders from the gods. We are going to break down the math, the psychology, and the life-altering changes that happen at each level. This is the blueprint from 0 to financial sovereignty. Before we reveal the first portal, we have to understand the monster that guards it. The enemy that keeps 99% of people stuck on level 1 forever. The enemy is linear thinking in an exponential world. Our brains are wired to think in straight lines. If I walk for 1 hour, I go 3 miles. If I walk for 2 hours, I go 6 miles. Simple, predictable. We apply this same caveman logic to our money. We think, if it took me 5 years to save my first $20,000, it will take me another 5 years to save the next 20,000. And when we do that math, the journey to 1,000,000 feels so impossibly long that we quit before we even start. But that is a lie. Your money does not grow in a straight line. It grows like a rocket ship. A rocket ship burns 85% of its fuel just to break through the Earth's atmosphere. It is a violent, inefficient, and terrifying process just to get off the ground. But once it breaks into orbit, it can circle the Earth for years with just tiny puffs of gas. The hard part is the beginning. This is the great filter of wealth. It is the long, silent, and brutal period I call the boring middle. This is the phase where you are doing everything right. You are saving aggressively, you are living below your means, you are investing consistently, but you are getting almost no positive feedback. Your friends are buying new cars, and you are driving a 10-year-old Toyota. They are posting vacation photos from Bali, and you are eating meal-prepped chicken and rice. During this phase, you are at war with yourself and society. Society's marketing machine is screaming at you. You are a loser. You are missing out. You deserve to be happy now. And your own impatient brain agrees. It wants the dopamine hit of the purchase, not the delayed gratification of security. This is where almost everyone breaks. They look at their small investment account, they look at their modest lifestyle, and they say, this isn't worth it. They cash out, they buy the truck, they go back to being a consumer, they fail the test. What they don't realize is that they quit 5 feet from gold. They gave up during the launch sequence, right before the rocket was about to break into orbit. The 3 milestones we are about to discuss are the moments you break through the atmosphere. Let's get into the map. The 3 portals that take you from 0 to 1,000,000. Each one unlocks a new level of financial power and psychological freedom. Milestone number 1, the first $100,000 escape velocity. This is the most important number in your entire financial life. The legendary investor Charlie Munger said it best. The first 100,000 is a B word. He was right. It is a brutal, relentless grind. Let's look at the math. If you save $10,000 a year and earn an 8% return, it will take you about 7 years to hit your first 100,000. During those 7 years, you personally contributed $70,000. The market only gave you 30,000. You did the vast majority of the work. You were the engine. This is why it feels so slow. Your investment returns are like a tiny sail on a giant cargo ship. They are barely helping. But the moment you cross $100,000, you have achieved escape velocity. You have broken through the financial atmosphere. Why? Because the math starts to accelerate. To get to your second 100,000, it doesn't take 7 years. It takes about 4.5 years. To get to your third, it takes just over 3 years. The time it takes to add another $100,000 keeps shrinking. even though your effort remains exactly the same. At $100,000, an 8% return is $8,000 a year. That is almost $700 a month. You now have a silent, invisible employee working for you, earning more than a minimum wage part-time job, and they never call in sick. This is the first time in your life that your money is making a meaningful amount of money. But the change is more psychological than mathematical. I call this the anchor effect. When you have less than $10,000, you are a tiny raft in a hurricane. A $1,000 car repair can sink you. When you have $100,000, you are a battleship. A $1,000 car repair is a wave that you barely even notice. You have an anchor of safety in the storm of life. This anchor buys you power. When you go into your job, you are no longer a desperate supplicant. You are a valued partner. You can negotiate for a raise with confidence because the worst they can say is no, and you will be fine. You can walk away from a toxic boss because you have 2 to 3 years of living expenses in the bank. This confidence is a magnet for opportunity. Because you don't need the job, you are more likely to get a better one. You also have proof of concept. For those first 7 years, you were operating on pure faith. You were trusting the process. Once you see 6 figures in your account, you have undeniable proof that you are a person who can build wealth. That identity shift is permanent. You have graduated from being a consumer to being a capitalist. Milestone number 2. The $500,000 tipping point work becomes optional. If $100,000 is escape velocity, then $500,000 is the tipping point where the entire game changes. This is the moment that work, for the first time in your life, becomes a choice rather than a necessity. Let's look at the math again. To get from $100,000 to $500,000, saving that same $10,000 a year takes about 11 years. Now, that might sound long, but look at the breakdown. You personally contributed another $110,000. The market gave you a staggering $290,000. Your money is now doing triple the work that you are. The co-pilot is flying the plane. At $500,000, an 8% return is $40,000 a year. Let that sink in. Your investment portfolio is now generating a full-time, entry-level salary, and you don't have to do a single thing to earn it. $40,000 a year. That is more than the median individual income in many states. This is what the FIRE movement calls lean FIRE. It means you have enough passive income to cover your basic survival needs. Housing, food, transportation, and utilities. You might not be living a life of luxury, but you will never starve. You will never be homeless. You have won the game of survival. The psychological impact of this is profound. The fear of being fired disappears. The stress of a recession disappears. You have decoupled your survival from your labor. This is the ultimate form of freedom. This milestone unlocks the ability to take asymmetric risks. An asymmetric risk is a bet where the downside is small and the upside is potentially massive. For example, starting a business. When you're broke, starting a business is a terrifying gamble. If it fails, you lose everything. But when you have $500,000 generating $40,000 a year, your survival is already taken care of. You can afford to take a shot. You can afford to work on a project you are passionate about for a year, and if it fails, you are still okay. This is why the rich get richer. They can afford to take the risks that have the potential for massive payoffs. At $500,000, you get to start playing that game. You can invest in a friend's startup. You can buy a rental property. You can take a year off to write a book. You are no longer playing defense with your money. You are playing offense. Milestone number 3, the $1 million milestone, the end of the game. This is the level that society has deemed the ultimate symbol of wealth. A millionaire. But the reality of what it means to cross this threshold is far more powerful than the title suggests. The math to get from 500,000 to $1 million is almost comical. It takes just over 5 years. It took you 7 years to get your first 100,000, and now you are making 500,000 in 5 years, while doing the exact same amount of work. The rocket ship is now in deep space, traveling at impossible speeds. At $1 million, an 8% return is $80,000 a year. Your money is now making more than the median American household. Your portfolio is a high-earning professional who works tirelessly for you. This is the point of financial sovereignty. It is not about being rich. It is not about the Lamborghini. It is about owning your time completely. You wake up every single morning and you get to ask yourself, What do I want to do today? Not, what do I have to do today? The psychological shift is from, what if I lose my job? To, what impact do I want to have on the world? You can choose to work because you love it, not because you need the money. You can dedicate your life to a charity, to art, to your family. You have bought back the most valuable asset in the universe, the remaining years of your life. When you reach $1 million, you have officially escaped the matrix. You are no longer a battery powering the system. You are an owner of the system. You are no longer just an employee, you are capital. And in our economic system, capital is what holds the power. This milestone also allows you to think generationally. You are not just securing your own future. You are securing the future of your children and grandchildren. You have the ability to break cycles of poverty and create a legacy of opportunity. That is a power that very few people in human history have ever possessed. Now you are probably listening to this and thinking, okay, John, $1 million equals a perfect life, got it. But that is not the whole story, and this is the twist that you need to be prepared for. Reaching these milestones does not solve all your problems. It just gives you a higher class of problems. I call this the wealth paradox. The paradox is that the skills that get you to the milestone are not the same skills you need to manage life after the milestone. When you hit $100,000, the new enemy is not scarcity, it is complacency. You feel safe for the first time and your instinct is to take your foot off the gas. You start thinking, I deserve a new car. This is the mid-journey crisis, and it has destroyed more wealth than any stock market crash. You have to fight the urge to reward yourself and stay disciplined. When you hit $500,000, the new enemy is not your boss. It is fear. For the first time, you have something significant to lose. You start watching the stock market obsessively. You worry about a crash. You become afraid of risk, even though taking calculated risks is what will get you to the next level. You have to learn to manage the psychology of wealth preservation, which is completely different from wealth creation. And when you hit $1 million, the new enemy is the most surprising of all, meaninglessness. For your entire life, your goal was get the million. You structured your identity around this quest, but what happens when you get there? What do you do when the game is over? Many people fall into a depression because they have lost their sense of purpose. You have to find a new why that is bigger than a number in a bank account. You have to transition from a financial goal to a life mission. Building wealth is a journey of personal evolution. Each milestone requires you to kill off a part of your old self and become someone new. You have to evolve from a grinder to a manager to a philosopher. If you fail to evolve, you risk losing everything you have worked so hard to build. The journey from 0 to $1 million is not a mystery. It is a formula. It is a roadmap with 3 distinct checkpoints. $100,000, $500,000, and $1 million. Each one is a portal to a new reality. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It requires you to reject the normal path of consumerism and debt. It requires you to fight your own impatient brain. It requires you to have faith in the process during the long, boring middle when it feels like nothing is happening. But the reward is the greatest prize in the modern world: sovereignty, the ownership of your time, your choices, and your life. You are not just building a bank account. You are building a fortress of freedom for you and your family. If this roadmap has given you clarity on your own financial journey, if it has shown you the light at the end of the tunnel, then do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and like this video. It helps us get this blueprint to more people who are stuck on level 1. I'll see you in the next one.